the Warriors went 3-1 last week. Okay, they did take the L against Minnesota, but they did get wins at Houston and at Dallas. Dallas is actually a not terrible team. Houston is terrible. Let's call it what it is. But they also get the win at home against Philly, a game that your boy Vinny G was at, and I was sitting in really good seats, man. And it was a lot of fun. And I will say, Joel Embiid is absolutely that dude, man. He was
Nice.
he was amazing, and I consider it an honor to have been able to watch him play in person. This is I'm awestruck by just like I know how talented he is, and I see it, in the games that I do watch, but to see it in person is something else entirely, man. He dropped 46 points. That's a Biden, man. He dropped a Biden on us. But they held him under 50, so that was the key to the victory, man. You keep Embiid under 50. I actually saw something where Embiid, I guess, took it personally that Draymond said that Jokic was the toughest guy to defend. So then Embiid said, "All right, bet," and just absolutely went ham on the Warriors all game long.
Yeah,
The Warriors were able to slow him down just enough at the end.
I don't disagree that Embiid is out of worldly talented, but to defend my boy Dre because he's on my team and I have to. I think what makes Jokic so difficult is not that Jokic could drop 50 points on you like Embiid can. It's because Jokic can do that and also get like 10, 15 assists at the same time.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's what's difficult.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying whether Draymond was right or wrong about that. I'm just saying that's what Joel Embiid heard, and then he said, "All right, bet," and just absolutely, he took it to the Warriors, but the Warriors were still able to get the W. And
yeah,
that's
no knock on any of them, but it's fun to see that your MVP cases are big men. You know what I mean? Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic. So it's fun. I love all of this. I love what we have going on here. I also want to point out that Minnesota loss. I was seeing a lot of flack given to Jordan Poole. Stop it. Whoever, as a Warriors fan, is coming down Jordan Poole's lane right now, stop. That man played great. Your top three players didn't play so great. All right. So I know he had a turnover late in the game against Minnesota, but in reality, man, we had plenty of other chances besides that one turnover.
Yeah, there were hella turnovers, I believe is the scientific term. Hella?
Yeah. I
did say that right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a stat. HT, hella turnovers.
Yeah, hella turnovers against Minnesota. They had a bunch of really sloppy early turnovers against Philadelphia early in that game. And then from like the second quarter on, I don't know that I saw a single turnover, man. Like they secured the ball a lot better basically in the last three quarters, except for like, a moment here or there. But for the most part, they really kept the turnovers down to a minimum. And that's when the Warriors are, the defending champs. If they don't give the ball up, who knows what could happen, man? Sky's the limit.
There's some crazy stat that if the Warriors are under 16 turnovers, they win like 85% of their games. Something crazy like that. So, yeah,
and
definitely.
You do expect some turnovers from the Warriors because that's just the nature of the ball movement. You expect Steph, Clay, and Dre to like turn the ball over here and there. You expect them to make those moves, and that means it's all the more important for everybody else to be more protective of the ball.
Sure.
There you go. There's the difference right there. We look at the Philly game and then we look at the Minnesota game, and you turn the ball over a lot, you lose. You secure the ball, you win. That's the name of the game with the Warriors.
Also, I want to give a shout out to the Kings. If the Kings win their next game or the Suns lose their next game, the Kings will win the West. You heard me. The Kings Division will win the Pacific Division.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a
what world do we live in?
You know what? I like, in all honesty, my brother lives in Sac and his wife works in like the Sacramento area as well, and like doing stuff with not the Kings, but with other sports teams up there. So she's got to, like, with partnerships, be able to see some of these Kings games, and it's a lot of fun, and they're enjoying themselves up there. They're really having a moment, and I'm really happy for them.
Yeah,
until they play us, in which time rotten hell. But until that time, I'm really excited for the Kings. The Warriors and the Kings, in the history of both franchises being in Northern California, have never both made the playoffs in the same year.
Right.
And
that's really cool.
We've got a realistic shot of that happening this year. The Warriors need to kind of hold down the 6th seed right now as it stands.
Because if he goes to 7th seed, you're playing the Kings in the first round.
If you go into the 7th seed, you're playing in that play-in tournament. The 6th seed right now, the Kings are the 3 seed. So
that's true.
They're 2 games back of the Grizzlies. So the Grizzlies are kind of holding on to that 2 spot. Nobody's catching the Nuggets. And there's your top 3. Like the Suns aren't catching the Kings. Suns, Clippers, Warriors, they're all within a game of each other for 4, 5, and 6.
Even with the rough loss to Minnesota, they still have a shot at like the 4 seed.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They could be hosting a playoff series in the first round. So that's like, definitely not out of the question.
You know, like I get the frustration of the fandom of like, oh fuck, you know, you blew this winnable game, but you know, like that's been the MO of this team. Like they've been blowing the winnable games, even at home.
Yeah.
What was that game? They lost on a buzzer beater at home. Like they allowed a 3-point. The game ended. You know, they lost to the Nets. You know, at a time. That was the game that I went to. That it was a game they also should have won at home, and they let that one slip away. So they just. Unfortunately, the Warriors team, like they've been inconsistent or short end of the stick. That turnover sucked, but it's been everybody on this team making those mistakes. Like you can't say Curry's innocent. Like Curry did no wrong. Like he makes turnovers, and sometimes taking a shot so early in the clock, like, all kinds of shooters in the league do that. Just, I'm open, shoot it. And it's like so early in the clock, you have so much time. So there's been bad turnovers by everybody on the Warriors. So you can't go down just Jordan Poole's lane. It's everybody. But with all the nonsense of this team, they're still capable of being a 4.
I know that's wild.
That's what we had called for at the beginning of the year, right? Like a 4 seed. If they're a 4 seed, that means it's going to be a lot of fun, man.
I don't want to hear any complaint.
Yeah.
You could be a 4. Shut up.
Yeah.
I remember when this team was like, hope we get to 20.
20 wins.
20 wins would be It's like what point of the season do we get our 20th win? And if it's anywhere before March,
when you were juiced to
success.
See Andres Biedrins.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me when the Thunder mascot came to your school to give away free tickets because the Warriors were that bad.
Right.
These kids know nothing.
Bobby Sura, savior of the franchise.
Bobby Sura, dude.
Larry Hughes, that was another one. They actually signed him, right?
God. They did.
Larry Hughes. It was like,
from Cleveland.
Christmas come early.
Yeah, and that fucking worked out great, right?
Remember when they had Muggsy? Remember they were like advertising Muggsy? They signed Muggsy as a free agent.
Muggsy's claim to fame, of course, being in Space Jam.
Fucking,
and being
the other thing too.
Maggette? Remember they spent hella money on Corey Maggette?
Oh yeah. The other thing too is come talk to me when your team is being advertised to come watch on the radio, and they advocate and tell you about all the other team's players going against your team. Come watch Kobe Bryant come play against the Warriors.
Hey, it's a great timeout, man. It's a great timeout.
Yeah.
I'll say that. God, that song
when they were
lives in my head.
advertising like the 3-game pack, you could come and see Kobe and Shaq and everybody else but the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. You're listening to the SVT podcast. Subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell to get alerts when we post a new episode. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SVT Sports Pod. Slide into our DMs. We would love to interact with you.